I, female 32, was on vacation with my husband and his family for 5 days to another state. I'm not too fond of his family due to their intrusive, pushy nature, but I decided to go since he insisted. I brought my video camera to capture moments with him and our toddler daughter. His family and his mom started complaining about not being included in the videos I recorded, but I'd already told them I wanted this to be a project for our small family, me, him and our daughter. He told me that this wasn't right and that his family, his mom especially, felt disrespected by me continually excluding them from all my videos. He suggested I take a video or two of them to keep the peace. Well, I told him this would cost me money, but he still said okay and took 2 videos, 8 minutes long, of his mom, sister, her kids, husband and others. Apparently that was still not enough, as his mom wanted to be present in every video I took with my daughter. I was getting frustrated, honestly. We got on a boat for a short tour and his mom saw me recording my daughter and demanded I record her, but I politely declined. She threw a fit and told my husband, who gave me a horrible stare, then demanded that I include his mom in the entire video, but I refused. He suddenly took the camera out of my hand and threw it into the sea. I verbally gasped and then looked at him, and he sat back down nonchalantly, telling me I only got myself to blame for this. I was boiling inside. I looked over and I swear I saw his mom smirking. I argued with him, telling him in front of his family that I was expecting and then demanding him to replace this expensive camera of mine, and the tour got cut short. His family said I once again ruined their trip after I packed my stuff and said I wanted to go home with my daughter. His mom remained calm while his dad defended him, saying that his son was pushed by me and acted out of frustration, and that it was unrealistic of me to expect him to pay that much on something as unimportant as a camera. We went home and the fight continued. Now we're not speaking, but he keeps saying that I should have included his mom in the video and that I was no saint in this situation and shouldn't play victim, much less demand anything from him, but I just wanted to make some memories with my daughter. Was I wrong to demand him to pay for a replacement? Not the idiot. He owes you a replacement camera and you owe yourself a replacement husband. Please, OP, be careful. The fact you even think that you may be an idiot is really worrying. He stole from you. He's not even remorseful. He almost threatened you. He is manipulating you and straight up told you had it coming and you weren't a victim? That screams abusive behavior. OP, to be clear, you don't have an in-law or a mother-in-law problem. You have a husband problem. He went scorched earth when he threw the camera overboard. He was willing to throw away memories of your daughter, your shared daughter, if it meant spiting you and pleasing mommy. He would have benefited from the video and had a token to remember your child by, and yet he chose to yeet that crap into the sea. He cut off the nose to spite your collective face as parents, and somehow you think you're the bad guy here? This behavior on your husband's part is concerning. If he throws an expensive camera out of frustration over something as small as his mom not being included in a video, what's to stop him from escalating to a dangerous level over something that matters big time? How long till he throws something special to his daughter away because he disapproves? OP, your husband is gaslighting you. I've heard men use the same excuse for hitting their wives. I hit you because you misbehaved. Get out of there now. Who knows what this man could and would do in regards to his anger? I am mother-in-law. I don't have any problems with my daughter-in-law. I don't expect them to take my picture or accommodate me in any way. Anything I can do to work with them is good. I think this woman has been playing you a long time. Next time you're around them, just sit back and watch the show. You will see things you never saw before. So I and my 3 siblings and 9 cousins have a grandpa that's not really around for most of us. Around 10 years ago, he decided he only wanted to spend time with 2 specific grandkids, the children of his favourite daughter. So he doesn't speak to the rest of us unless we're at an event, and even then, he barely says anything. The last time we saw him was at a wrestling tournament. He watched my cousin and left as soon as my brother's name was called for his match, so it feels pretty deliberate that he doesn't talk to us. For reference, I'm the oldest grandchild at 20, the rest are between 5 and 17. Anyways, my brother had this idea that the next time we saw him at an event, we should just act like we didn't know him. He never remembers who we are anyways, and I thought it would be funny. So last week was one of my cousin's birthdays, one of the cousins he likes, and he was there. He didn't interact with us for most of the party, but towards the end of it, he came up to my sister and me and said hello. I said, "Oh hey, you're ex's grandpa, right? It's so nice to meet you." He looked confused and said, "Well, yes, but aren't you Y's kids?" I responded with, "We are. Are you related to her or something? You look kind of like our grandpa, but he hasn't spoken to us in years." He was visibly angry and called me disrespectful before stomping off. Most of the family thinks what I said was funny and not a huge deal, but his wife and the parents of my cousins, his faves, are super angry at me. His wife told me this would ensure he never speaks to us again. Fine by me, lol. I don't care that he's mad at me, but was this a big idiot thing to do? I thought it was pretty tame as far as jokes go, but people clearly disagree with me. No one noticed how he asked if they were Y's kids. Like, he has to almost verify he was talking to who he thought he was first. What does that say? Not the idiot, OP. Disrespectful? Maybe, lol, but he already acts like the rest of you are strangers to him. He got a taste of his medicine and now he's upset? He can't have it both ways. Playing favourites sucks, whether you're a parent or a grandparent, and he's done both. No one's ever called him out on the damage he's done until now. Good for you. In a twisted way, it was funny. Screw him, you lost nothing. You reap what you sow. That's what that unknown man got. You'll notice it's only the folks getting special treatment who are saying otherwise within your family. That's because you're not doing anything wrong, but they need to defend him to preserve their relationships with him. My husband, 36, and I, 28 female, have been together for 6 years, married almost 3. Over the past couple of months, I've raised the topic of a time frame for having children, which he always brushes off. When I confronted him recently about this dismissive behaviour, he told me that having children would be too much work for him, e.g. doesn't want to change diapers, tend to a crying baby at 3 a.m, etc. The only way he would agree to it is if he could have a second wife to help. He's Muslim and this is allowed in Islam. Or if we adopted older children, pre-teen to teen, because they are more independent and can do fun things with him like play video games. I would not agree with this because I don't think wanting a gaming partner is the right reason to adopt a child. I told him I had no intention of agreeing to this second wife plan either, and he stated that I'm not being realistic about how hard it is to raise children, and I want him to be miserable. I asked him why he never told me he wanted a second wife before. I would never have married him if I knew, and he said that it only became a necessity for him when I started to bring up having kids. He claims that the first month we met, I had told him I didn't want kids. I don't recall that as it's been years, but I had expressed interest several times over the years, even before we got married, so it's evident that even if that was something I said once, I've changed my mind. I explained to him that if he's not on board with raising children in a monogamous relationship where he is an active parent, the only option would be for me to file for divorce. He says he does not want to get divorced and would fight it, and that I should agree to one of the two options he posed. So, am I the idiot? I don't want to get divorced, but I believe he wants another partner and is just using kids as an excuse. Not the idiot. This is just madness. Don't have babies with this man. The kids are his excuse for the second wife, which sounds like his ultimate goal. So send him the divorce papers and get you a better man. Wow. Offer to get a second husband who wants to have children, and he won't have to worry about childcare at all. What if the second wife wants her kids as well? It just makes more sense to add another man versus another woman. Since his reason is that kids are too much work for two people, he should snap that compromise right up, since it's only about extra help and not at all misogyny. He sounds immature and selfish. I would divorce him. Raising kids is hard, but that doesn't mean you get a second spouse to make up for him not wanting to take care of his children. He doesn't want to be a parent if he thinks it's too much work for him, and honestly, I wouldn't want kids with a partner that considers them an inconvenience. Not everyone is meant to be a parent, and that's okay, but telling you to agree to a second wife or adopt older children because he doesn't want to take care of a baby is not okay. Not the idiot, OP. Get out of that marriage. Sounds exhausting. I'm a 54-year-old male, my ex-wife is 52. We've been divorced for over 15 years. We had a son together, Michael, who passed away 3 months ago. Michael's girlfriend, Ilhan, is 21 and is pregnant, due in October. Her very conservative parents kicked her out for getting pregnant outside of their religion. My ex was never fond of Ilhan and reluctantly agreed to share the cost of an apartment with me when I said we should help them with a deposit and the first few payments for their own place. This was just weeks before Michael died. Ilhan stayed in the apartment after his death. I told her already I'd help out in any way I could. My ex approached me a few weeks ago and asked me to sell the apartment and get our money back. I told her Ilhan really needs it and deserves our help. We both have more than enough money. My ex asked me to sell many times in the past few weeks. Last week we got into a fight about Michael's estate. She wants to sue Ilhan because she doesn't think she should get anything. She again asked me to sell the apartment, it's still in both our names. I told her I'd just pay her for her share of the apartment and let that be. She gets her money then. She said she doesn't think Ilhan should have the apartment. I told her she is a spiteful and selfish idiot who cares about the money and not her daughter-in-law and grandkid, who literally will never know his dad. She cried, called me an idiot, and said I was insensitive about her loss. Not the idiot. Morally, and I'd imagine legally, Michael's unborn child is entitled to Michael's estate over anyone else. You even offered to buy your ex out so you could protect your daughter-in-law and grandchild. If your ex doesn't take you up on that, it will be fairly obvious that it's not actually about the money, but about your ex's prejudice towards Ilhan. Hasn't Ilhan been through enough? She was kicked out of her family and lost her partner while she was pregnant. Now your ex wants her to be homeless? What makes me angry the most is that she says that OP isn't being sensitive about her loss. Meanwhile, she's trying to kick a 21-year-old pregnant widow who has been disowned by her family out on the street, and also sue her for the money that should go to her. Where is her sensitivity towards Ilhan's loss? Yeah, it sounds like his ex-wife isn't looking to be made whole. She just wants to voice her disapproval for Ilhan by throwing her and her unborn child out on the street one way or another. That's just messed up. Just watch. A few years later she'll be all, I don't know why I'm not allowed to be the grandmama. I just tried to make the child's mother homeless after my son died. I'd like to bet $20 that the ex will be suing for grandparents' rights, claiming the child is all she has left of her precious baby, and Ilhan is a horrible mother who is homeless and can't provide for the baby and keeps him away from his loving, rich grandma. Especially if Ilhan is having a boy. I wouldn't be wholly surprised if X knows this, but figures that if Ilhan is homeless when the baby arrives, it'll be a piece of cake for her to sue for custody of her grandchild. Whereas, as things stand, without OP playing partner in crime, not only would she be suing to establish a relationship, Ilhan would have OP available to testify that the loving grandma tried to make the child and its mother homeless. Update. First, thank you all so much for your kindness and support. Ilhan and I have talked and decided to sell the apartment after hiring a graphic designer that will make sure Michael's wall drawings become something she can take with her. So she'll move in with me and stay here, then move whenever she's ready. And I'm selling the apartment, and the money will go to my grandson's savings account. Oh, and it's a boy, so my next few months will be spent painting the room and listening about baby names. Growing up, my family and I were all fat. They never taught me about good nutrition and portion sizes. The only exercise I got was in gym class, so of course I was used to all this, right? Especially since a lot of my friends were the same. When I went to college, I was exposed to many new things, and I learned quickly that my family's habits weren't healthy. For years, they always said the weight was genetic. Then, when I go to lunch with my friend group at the dining hall, I noticed that my portion sizes were huge against theirs, so I cut down my portions and I joined them in doing yoga and stuff. Naturally, I ended up losing some weight, like size 22 to tight size 12. I really like the way I look. You can see my collarbones. But I ended up having to go back home during summer break, and I've been surprised at just how differently I feel from my family. When we ordered pizzas 2 years ago, we'd get our own, and it would be gone that night. So we had pizza night when I got home, and I ate 2 slices, and that was it. Last week, my mom made her special lasagna. I made a side salad to go with it. She always plates the meals and then sets the big dish in the middle so we can have more. Well, the piece she gave me was way too big, so I cut it in half and served myself more salad. My sister immediately got on my case about how rude that was to Mom because she'd worked hard on the lasagna. I said I couldn't eat that much food in one sitting, and she scoffed and said that didn't used to be a problem. I said yes, but things have changed a little if you can't tell. She got in my face and said that I brought my college BS home with me and I should have left it at the door and ate like a normal person. I told her that I was eating like a normal person, that everyone I knew at school eats like this and that we were the abnormality. It's not normal to be so stuffed at the table that you're in pain. My brother chimed in, saying I'd just gained the weight back, so stop pretending I'm better than them. But I don't think I am at all. I'm no better than anyone. But I also don't think I'm wrong for sticking to smaller portions instead of being stuffed all the time. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Well done you for learning new, healthier habits. It's not an easy thing to do, so kudos. It doesn't sound like you made a big deal out of it either. If you'd had a go at your mom or something, that wouldn't be okay, but you just gave yourself a smaller portion. Perfectly reasonable to my mind. I'm sorry your family isn't happy for you about the changes you've been able to put in place. Sounds like maybe your siblings are a bit jealous of what you've been able to achieve. There is nothing disrespectful about eating less than the portion you're given, especially when you're not consulted about what kind of size portion you want before being served. However, being forced to or expected to clean your plate because someone else cooked is one of many unhealthy habits that some adults enforce on children, and it's even worse when the portions they're forcing are bigger than necessary. A whole pizza per person is entirely ridiculous. Everyone is entitled to decide what and how much to eat, but your family's habits are unhealthy. You weren't trying to show off the changes in your eating habits, you were choosing how much to eat from what is at the table. You're perfectly entitled to that. Your sister and brother are simply threatened by your weight loss and overall lifestyle changes, and they're picking petty fights to put you down. Deep down, they know they're being unhealthy but are unwilling to change. This is why your new eating style is triggering for them. I'm happy for you that you're taking care of yourself. Ignore them and keep doing you.